In the last video on the 91 KDX250, we did finish installing the triple clamps, the bar mounts, and we even got the headlight and tail light wired in, and which, by the way, the tail light does work. It's just really dim during the day. I got a few things I want to do today. Now that we have our number plate on, we can stick our sticker on so that it matches the number 3 down there. I'm going to put some zip ties on some of the cables that I'll cut. That way it's a little bit more organized. And then I've got a little bit of a project I want to do. The bracket mount here is missing. I don't have it, and they are super expensive, and I can't even find one, if I'm being honest. So I'm going to create my own bracket, because currently the only thing holding on this plate is these 2 bolts, which is fine, but there's 2 mounts here that I do want to utilize just because. So I have cut up a little rough cardboard template that's going to fit right in there, and I'll kind of show you what that looks like here in just a second. So this is kind of what the bracket looks like. You can see those are the 2 holes that go to the number plate. So do that. It's going to go down kind of like the original bracket, and then this part goes underneath these 2 bolts right here. So it'll look kind of like that. So that's kind of what it looks like without it. As you can see, loose, but not terribly loose. And so I'm going to try to build this out of steel that I bought, and I'm going to show that to you real quick. Here's the steel I bought. It is a 12-inch by 18-inch, 22 gauge, just piece of steel. Plan is to essentially use this as a template and then cut it out with that, and then figure out a way to somehow bend it nice and evenly straight. So I'm going to get onto that a little bit later. And first, we're going to tidy this up and put our number on the number plate. To clean the number plate, all I'm going to do is take a little bit of water, and this is like a drop of dish soap. You spray it on, and then we're going to wipe it clean. And that's really all we need to do to have a fresh, nice, clean surface to work with. So there we go. That's it. Okay, now that the number plate is clean, what I like to do is actually take this same soapy water here and lightly mist the area you're going to put the decal on. And what that does, it gives you a little bit of extra time and wiggle room for you to maneuver the actual sticker around, because otherwise it'll just straight stick, and then, you know, you kind of have a hard time, you got to peel it up, that kind of deal. So just going to, a little heavier than I'd want, but let's go for it. And I think we're going to go top to bottom. So kind of fold it over like that, and then do that. That looks okay. And then slowly put it on. And this is easy. This is a super easy one to put on, just because, I mean, look at it, it's pretty much completely flat. So now we're going to do our best to keep it in place while getting all the soap and air bubbles out. It looks like we're a little crooked, but who cares? Okay, we got it stuck on. Looks halfway okay, which is good enough for me. I'll kind of put these edges on a little bit better, because I kind of want to flare up a little bit. And then we got a little blue, I think, from the paper towel, so I'll use a different towel to wipe that off. But there we go. That's how I do it. This is a pretty easy one, just because it's not like this where you have a big shroud and you got to go over all the creases and areas. So that's how I do it. If you have a better way, I'd like to know, but that's the way I do it. I think next I want to, actually I forgot to mention this, I want to modify this to fit onto there. So I'm going to kind of walk you through how I'm going to do that. So something I forgot to actually mention I want to do in the beginning of this video is this little mount for the brake line was for the KX triple clamps, why it has, you know, 2 holes. But also this is a much bigger bolt than what the KX triple clamps had. And so my first thought was, well, I'll just drill one hole out. Well, that's kind of really hard to do. So I got a little file with me. I'm gonna file it out, make it a little bit bigger. That way that bolt can fit through. And then my plan is to take and just cut that little bit off. That way it looks hopefully nice. So I'm gonna get on that. Okay, for something that I literally just cut up and filed out, it doesn't look too bad. I only had 800 grit sandpaper, unfortunately, and I only brought the one file with me. So this is as good as it's gonna look for now. And it's probably gonna be as good as it ever looks, because I'm gonna put it on there and then probably never think about it again. So go ahead and I guess do that right now. There we go, boom. All right, now that I got everything zip tied, I got the sticker put on, this put on, things are buttoned up the way they should be. The last thing I do is this, and I think I'm actually gonna do it at home, where I have a bench vise and some clamps that I can actually hold this down with and actually get it traced out real nice. But I'm gonna continue this here soon. I'm back, different day, same clothes. I can actually start working on this now. So I've already got it traced out, just out of frame here. And I'm gonna go ahead and adjust the camera and start cutting this thing, and hopefully we can make a bracket. This is kind of what I've got cut so far. As you can see, it matches it pretty well. I did cut this deeper than that just to make it, I think, easier. I don't know, we'll see. So now, this tool that I used left this thing gnarly, so I'm going to file that all off and probably actually use the bench, oh hell, I can't think of what it's called. Like the wire wheel, but there's a grindstone on the other side. Anyways, probably use that to flatten this out, smooth some of these edges out, and then after that, I think my plan is just to bend each line here according to which way it needs to be bent. So, okay, this is what I have so far. And I'm gonna be honest, it does not look good. It really doesn't. But, I mean, once I spray paint it black, it's gonna look okay, and really, this is more for fun, I think, and just something temporary until maybe I can find the actual bracket, because the only ones I've been able to find on eBay are for different years of KDXs, and yeah, they're kind of tough to find. And when you do find them, they're $200 some, and I don't know. So anyways, this is gonna look real bad, but we'll see how it turns out. So I think my next step is I'm just gonna stick it in here and start bending away. So I think that's where I'm gonna go next. Okay, I've kind of got it bent the way I want to, and it doesn't look too bad. It could be better. It really could be. I wish the bends were maybe a little bit more crisp. I don't know how to put it, but it's gonna be all right. Because the nice thing is if it doesn't quite fit when I go back to the shop with the bike, I can just kind of move it around and tweak it a little bit. And then the only other thing I'm gonna have to do is drill holes here, here, and here, and then spray paint it and put it in. And then I think that's gonna be it. So I just got back to the shop. I'm gonna go ahead and take the bar mount off here, just the top one. We're gonna slide our little bracket in, and hopefully it's gonna line up nicely where it's gonna go underneath right here, because there is actually a gap. And I think that was intentional. So I'm gonna use that, and that's kind of my plan. So I'm gonna go put that on real quick. went ahead, I drilled the holes for these, and so this actually fits in pretty good right here. I will say I have too much material. If you push it down, it makes it a little bit better, and my angle's not quite right, so I'm gonna kind of maneuver it a little bit, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and mark the holes for actually fixing it to the number plate, and then we're gonna be done. After that, I'm just going to give it a quick little, I guess, sand down, just make sure there's no sharp corners, and then give it a quick spray paint job and be done with it. We're just going to do some nice light even coats. This is just some spare spray paint I had laying around. That's probably enough for actually now. I do have some clear coats, so if I have time, I could probably throw in a layer of clear. But honestly, this thing's pretty ugly. I don't even know if it's worth putting a clear coat on. I'm gonna let that dry. We'll do another coat in just a minute. Second coat. Coat number 3. Okay, after 3 coats of just whatever leftover gloss black I have, I do have some gloss clear. I kind of would prefer matte, but I ain't gonna complain. This is what I have. I ain't buying paint for this piece of crap part I just put together. I have been using a heat gun in between coats just to kind of get it to dry quicker, because I'm losing light out here. It's basically already dark. So it's actually not, sticky at all, which is nice. So we're gonna throw on a quick little clear coat, and then probably just slap this sucker on the KDX. All right, so this is done drying. I mean, with the heat gun, it's not tacky, so it's dry. It's definitely not cured, so I'm gonna be just gentle in putting this in. But really, again, I mean, look at this thing. It's kind of a pile of junk. Now, the paint, it brought out some of the imperfections, but it did hide some of them, so woohoo. I'm gonna go ahead and slide this in, and let's be done with this. So there's the bracket, and it looks okay. I just found these. I have a box of just extra bolts and nuts and washers and stuff, and these happen to fit this. So I want to pair it up with a washer and call her a day. Ta-da! It's a bracket now that is semi-secure. So I guess that's it. I guess I should probably tighten that up. Okay. Oh boy, don't round it. Not enough for all this time. Okay. And then actually, I do have one more thing to do. Bar pad. Well, I think that's it. I think the only thing I might do is I might put a little bit of tape just on the bottom here, maybe some electrical tape. That way, like, my brakes and all my cables, they don't rub with the edges of the metal. But other than that, that's it. I do have some more plans for this bike. I'm ordering a new head gasket that's actually for a KX model. So I have mentioned in a previous video, this bike's running a little rich, more rich than I'd like. And so my first thought is let's go with the, dink with the carb. And really, I've been wanting to do this for a long time with the head gasket, so let me kind of explain it. The KDX250 is actually very similar to the KX250. Obviously, it's a totally different frame, but the motor is actually, for the most part, a KX motor. It's got like a wide ratio transmission, kind of better for trails, and they did some porting just to make it, again, better for trails. And one of the things they did is they have a thicker head gasket meant for the KDX. Well, the KX head gasket from, I believe, 1989 to maybe 1992, I could be wrong, will actually fit this bike, and it's much thinner, which will raise compression and kind of make a little bit more power. So that's kind of what I'm hoping to do, and I'll adjust with the carb after I've done that. So that's going to be it for today's video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.